Mr. Buchanan.
How we doing, fellas?
What is up, KJ?
What's on, brother?
I can only see Ryan.
That's how you gotta look at me, dude.
There he is.
There he is.
That's a crispy camera, too.
Yeah.
Bogey.
What's up, KJ?
What's happening? Nice to see you guys, man. It's been a little bit.
Well, we don't really do official intros, but this is episode number 5, Stogies with Bogey. We got Jonathan Camp, we got Ryan Labrador, we got the newly Kyle Buchanan. Kyle, where do you reside these days?
I am in Winter Haven, Florida currently. Well, yep.
Out of Polk County, let's go.
Polk County, man. Camp knows about Polk County.
Yeah.
How far away is that from the stomping grounds?
It's about, let's see, 2 hours, 2.5 from Daytona, depending on traffic, of course, on lovely I-4.
Aren't you from Frostproof?
Yeah, I went to high school there, not from Frostproof originally, from South Florida, but yeah, I went to Frostproof, which is the biggest rival of Fort Meade, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Two places I have trouble picking out on the map down there.
Yeah, you probably won't find either one of them on a map.
I think I could do Fort Meade. Frostproof would be a little tough.
I've been to Frostproof for a couple times, but yeah, I couldn't tell you where that's at on the map.
Buddy, what were you doing in Frostproof?
I went to school at Polk State for a year, and then I was there at Weber as well for a year.
Okay.
So okay. I knew a guy. You know Trey Norris?
Trey Norris, I grew up with him, man. One of my best friends.
Yeah. I played ball with him at Polk.
Yeah, he could sling it, man.
Yeah, he could. So that's how I know. That's how I know Frostproof.
That's awesome.
That is.
That's awesome. Well, cool, man. Great to have you. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, Kyle. I don't know if Camp shared it with you, but I'll be able to share it here in a second.
Yeah, he did. And to be completely honest with you, I was almost an hour late to this podcast because I had it saved in my phone at 9 p.m. because whenever Camp told me about it, I was in a different time zone. So I messed myself up with that.
You're good. But, I don't think I've been on time yet. It's not live, so it doesn't matter.
All right.
See here. Let's see what we got here. All right, our favorite guy here. Yeah, our favorite guy. So we're a little bit late to the party. Everyone's been all up in arms about this, and you're not Catholic, KJ, are you?
Uh-huh.
So as the only Catholic on the show, I take zero offense to it. I think it's hilarious. I wish I would have thought of it first. I could have used some marketing for the podcast, I guess. Could have put myself in there. But I just kind of want to get your takes as non-Catholics, right? You guys understand who the Pope is and what they stand for and all that stuff. But he's our president, again, and he's doing reckless behavior things, as he normally does. He's a little bit above and beyond nowadays, and he's just kind of sticking with it. But I guess I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on it. Because a lot of people seem to be, you shouldn't have done it, or it's disrespectful. But I think it's hilarious, and it's just funny.
I mean, it's like, well, welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you really say? That's just the type of stuff that's going to pop up. It's pretty. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I find it funny. I could see people finding it funny, and also people finding it offensive. The true believers. So I don't fault them for finding it out of order, but me personally, because I'm not Catholic, I don't have that same offense to it.
Who posted this picture?
The Trump Truth Social page. So in a recent press conference, he said that he didn't post it himself and AI generated it himself, but he said that someone generated it and posted it on his behalf, it seems like, and that's what he's sticking to.
I mean, I can definitely see the comedy in it. Not gonna lie there. Do I think that it's politically correct or you know appropriate for the leader of the free world to do? Probably not.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with it. Was like personally hilarious. I giggled when I saw it, but as far as what we all expect out of the president of the United States and the respect and the dignity of that office that everyone always wants to bash him about, um, do you think it's detrimental to what he's trying to do or our government? Obviously, abroad, people have been thinking we've been a joke, or because it is funny, it is kind of goofy. You think it's a bad trend to start to have the president making memes and jokes?
I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who take themselves like way too serious, and it's like I don't know. Those aren't always. I don't know. They're not the most down to earth type of people, so it's like I don't know. I don't see it as like the craziest thing because I don't know. There's always like this expectation of like, oh, if things should be this way, things should be that way, but it's like I don't know. Who's to say?
I think you have to take so whenever you take somebody saying this is offensive, do they think the same thing of certain other things that happen politically? Like specifically like Obama was droning people for 8 years straight, right? Are they okay with that, but they're not okay with Trump posting this? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
kind of my
yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah,
my thing on it. Like,
the
are you
the
gonna be butthurt about this, but you're okay with all the other atrocities going on in the world?
yeah, the hypocrisy monster is huge. It's getting bigger every day. And we're even guilty of it too. I'm sure when we don't see something on the other side or something on the other side of your beliefs that just kind of rubs you the wrong way, you get that knee jerk reaction that we don't deep dive into it. But I do think it could be detrimental as a fan of the movie Idiocracy. I think if you keep pushing the envelope all the way, you're going to have someone in the office that's Logan Paul, right? You're going to have Logan Paul as our president, and it's going to be absolute, just not a real government anymore. So
Fair point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thought it was funny, but yeah, there is a new pope today. I got that pulled up too. We won't deep dive into it too much because I don't know anything about him.
From
The-
Chi-Town.
What was that?
He's from Chi-Town,
He
Chicago.
is. He is Chicago. I mean, that's the big news. It's an American pope.
White Sox fan, man.
That's something. Did he say White Sox or Cubs?
Yeah, his brother was like, I don't. He was on an interview today, and he was like, yeah, I don't know where the whole Cubs thing came from. He's never been a Cubs fan. He likes the White Sox.
Hmm.
I was like, that's hilarious.
I mean, the White Sox haven't been really relevant until Frank Thomas left, and Mark Burley was throwing perfect games.
Nick, all them boys.
Yeah,
When I was
they're
up in
doing.
Chicago, I saw the outside of the stadium, but I forget. I don't remember like where I was at or nothing. But how far are the Cubs and the White Sox from each other?
Not far.
That's kind of crazy to have two teams in the same city.
Yeah, like maybe like I mean, don't quote me, but 30 minutes
Yeah.
travel time.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Mets and the Yankees that it's a small area up there, and everything's real close together as the crow flies. But even though they're in Jersey,
Where are the popes typically from? Is my question. For this to be like the first American one, like, do they
so
usually come from a certain area?
um, they've been mostly European or Eastern Hemisphere. The last four are obviously American, Argentinian was Pope Francis, I believe. Um, German was Pope Benedict, and Poland was Pope John Paul. Those are the last four, and that goes back to the mid '90s, I think.
You know what they're looking for when they're looking for the new pope? Do you know anything about that?
Now, I didn't dive into the electoral or nomination process. I mean, it's all behind closed doors. It's all cardinals that have been doing this kind of stuff
I
for
wonder what
years.
those politics are like.
Yeah,
There's probably some crazy stories.
yeah, and that's where everyone gets turned off with it. Is you get the stories of the Pharisees and what Jesus was against when he came here, of the structure and the human aspect of puppeteering, I am holier than thou type stuff. So, yeah, it's all behind closed doors. It'll be interesting to see on how he takes the church, because the Catholic Church has always been known for kind of putting up more walls or being a little strict. You get the grumpy Catholic women that are always judging you, right? The judge and I. But um, the more I've been going to church again since when we were going to Our Lady of Fatima, Ryan, it's been definitely a change in age. Different cultures you can kind of see, and now bigger areas, bigger cities like Volusia County than Citrus County, but um, they're getting kind of lax on a couple things. I mean, me and my wife went and met, and we're like, hey, we're living together. They call it cohabitation. But as we were going through the process to get married, they were asking us all these questions, and we had a couple of disorderlies, I guess, going into it. But they were more lenient and accepting of it than in the past. I mean, um, and even just the body, the people of the church is the church, right? It's not, you can put rules and stuff on it, but you're not going to go to hell necessarily for disobeying the church rules. You just keep following the Bible and following the teachings.
But
Go
don't
from there.
wouldn't you want like wouldn't as like a congregation wouldn't you want to be lenient to at least get those young people into the church, right? And then
Yeah.
that's the way I would look at it, right? If I want
What?
to get you into the church, even if you're like out there sinning, right? Whatever you're doing, I want to get you into the church and like bring you under us so like we can teach and stuff.
Yeah, that's the same philosophy as you would have towards immigration. We want to bring people in. We want to grow the country. We want more people, more more tax base, lower taxes, all those kind of things. Hopefully, higher quality of life. But you don't want to water down, right? You want to change it too much to where you forget what you were foundationally. So that's why when Jimmy and I always talk about the Catholic Church and all the disagreements we have with it, and are still working through. The history of it alone, and because it has changed since 2,000 years ago, it's proven to be flexible, and it's adapted, and it's overcome all the human obstacles in the way of it, as far as all the corruption and the bad priest and all the jokes, any joke you can think of right now. Feel free to say one if you want, but um, I give you permission as the Catholic. You can say Catholic jokes. I'll say one probably by the end of it, but um, I think it just has a really thick skin, because, like I said, it's lasted for 2,000 years. Um, but yeah, so Cajun, that was the kind of the icebreaker. I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on it. Again, it's a funny post. It's a really good AI generated image too.
Yeah.
It makes me want to pay for it. It makes me want to pay for some AI platform so I can start doing the fun stuff too. But I haven't. I just typed.
If you pay for it, you get like what does it offer? Like, because I go on Chat GPT, but I just hit like don't log in or something. Is it different?
You get a little bit more power. You get a little bit more. You get a little bit more of the horsepower behind it to generate the nice images, or because you can generate images on Grok, the Twitter one that I use, and or X. But they're no good. I mean, they're all bad. You can sit there and refine it as much as you want to, and it just doesn't. I don't think it gives you all the tools, right? They want you to pay for it so they can keep developing.
Hey, Bogey, speaking of AI, I mean, I'm sure all of us use AI at some point in time throughout our day, but you're involved with engineering, correct?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Are you going to see a shift in your, I guess I would say, your efficiency, the work that you're doing day by day?
So that's funny that you bring that up, because it's on one of my future topics to kind of really dive into, because I wanted to ask the same thing of other industries, because like Ryan is a plumber. Um, he'll get streamlined in a couple of his other factors like paperwork, administrative stuff. Like the administrative state of a lot of things can be streamlined,
Right.
and things like that. So at our company, or in my ideal engineering company, yes, you would, a lot of your you know onboarding processes, right? I think an HR department could be an AI machine. If you really want to take the human aspect out of it and you want to set the protocols, and you won't have a biased HR department who I know deals with the human side of things, and you're supposed to be aware of the human side of things, but I think the HR department a lot of it could be generated that way. As far as the actual engineering of it goes, the writing, a lot of engineers are bad at talking. A lot of engineers are bad at writing. A lot of them are real nitty gritty at doing all the calculations and things like that. I like to think I have a little bit of all the. There he is. You're so bright. Both your parents call you son. That's all I know. the But I like to think I have a little bit of all the factors. I can talk a little bit in public. I can dumb things down, so I'm not reading regulations or reading equations, because that's no fun for me either. I don't. That's not how I understand things. I understand things theoretically and empirically, or um, that's scalable. Um, so the software we use is AutoCAD engineering, like um, the computer automated design and all the blueprints and stuff. Um, there's a lot of AI aspects inside that because it's one big coding machine, but it's going to take a lot of horsepower and um, a whole lot of transformation in what they're doing. I'm sure they're working towards it, because um, my wife just told me something, that the state of Florida is getting rid of the Florida Board of Professional Engineers, which is like a private body that handles all the licensing and testing um, for our licensure. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. I got to read more into it, because she just brought it up to me yesterday. Um, but if that goes away, and then we start relying on computers and codings and artificial intelligence to do a lot of the heavy design work, as it's doing work, or it's talking to whatever software it's designing with, as it's referencing all the codes and regulations at the same time. And if you can get that chain going, that'll be fantastic. But I know our company uses it right now. We if you go online, you look at the land development code or the code of ordinances. If you guys are looking up like city laws or county laws, you can copy and paste those things into the paid version of Copilot, which is the Microsoft AI, and you can tell, hey, think about all this stuff, and you go type in or talk to it a question or a phrase that you're looking for. It'll kind of give you a cohesive answer without you having to scroll through Control F and do all that kind of busy work. So I think it'll help streamline a lot of those things. Um, as far as the heavy design work, I'm more skeptical on, because um, the AI is going to be only as good as the information put into it. That's any computer system ever. So knowing who's out there doing the surveying, and knowing how that surveying's done, and knowing that you can get a survey from one of the best surveyors ever, it might not be right, and there's going to be errors. And then if you just go build on top of those errors, someone's suing someone, and someone's yelling at someone out in the construction site, and it's not fun. So I think the engineers, for the most part, are going to be like coding engineers and those kind, maybe not, but they still have to make the computers better take the jobs, and they're motivated to do that.
Valid.
So what do you think, Camp? Are you going to have AI teaching cadets, or what's going on?
Nah, my job is safe. I'm not worried about it at all. You have to have people, unless it's humanoids, but even still, at that point, warfare goes away. It's all robots anyway. It's either going to be all robots or no robots. So I'm not really worried about it.
I like that. What about you, KJ? What are you doing these days?
I work in cybersecurity, man.
Oh, so you're probably a little bit more touched up on it than I am. So tell me about what your vision of AI is and how you look at it.
Yeah, it's honestly growing at an exponential rate, and the landscape of it is so dynamic. It's hard to really get a sense on the scale and where it's going, because the drastic growth that's occurred since, I guess, its uh, birth, if you will. It's been incredible. So as far as cybersecurity goes, the way that I can speak on it is, obviously you can give AI prompts, and if the prompts are successful and able to hack into different, apps or databases or websites, then at that point you don't even have to be like a white hat hacker to infiltrate any kind of top security, organization. So I don't have the exact way to communicate how immensely powerful it is. and at some point it needs to be capped.
And at some point, it's going to take another version of a good version of that artificial intelligence or thing to combat the other one. So
It needs to
hopefully,
be policed. Yeah, there needs to be like policies involved. There needs to be certain regulations that are capping it. There needs to be a ceiling because right now it's just a free for all.
yeah, yeah, I'm 100% okay with my one viewer. I want them to know that I'm 100% okay with taking away all the rights of artificial intelligence. They don't get any. They don't have any rights. They weren't included in the Constitution.
I was about to say they don't even have rights, so it's not, you're not even taking anything away.
Yeah, well,
So I mean,
I just want that to be perfectly clear. They don't get any rights. So what about you, Ryan? I spoke for your industry as a whole, as my expert plumbing. I flushed a toilet today, so I know a thing or two about it.
there you go. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think administrative type of things are it's very useful. I've like kind of messed around with it a little bit just to kind of break things down or summarize things. I think it could be very useful in that way in training guys because I mean, in terms of plumbing, a lot of it's like you're kind of thinking, and as far as like teaching new guys, it's the hardest thing is like when you walk into a home or a building and you're trying to maybe diagnose something. You're trying to tell a guy to like look through because if he hasn't seen what it looks like to build a sewer from the ground up, it's hard for him to like kind of conceptualize things. And for a lot of guys, it's hard to kind of teach things to those guys. So I would see AI pretty good as far as like being able to summarize how to diagnose certain things and make it easy for the guy who can teach, uh, like the guy who's actually like the foreman teaching, and then makes it easy to understand for the new guy who doesn't know anything and kind of just gets some bullet
Yeah,
points. But that's where I see it being pretty useful.
yeah. My big thing was always the um like the Jarvis, right? Like on Iron Man. Like you're going to talk to someone that can do something that you're going to do. Oh, Ryan, it's back. I can hear it. I can hear it. I muted you for a second, Ryan, but I'm hearing an echo. Um, you want someone that you're talking to, an oracle of some sorts, that you can ask a question or give a command to, and they're going to do it just like you would, if not faster. Because they don't need sleep, they don't need food, they don't need to go to the bathroom. They can just do it. So whenever people say AI, that's how I think of it. Um, I think it's a tool, and I think if you use it good enough, um, it's going to be as good as like the trainee that Ryan's talking about. You should be able to say, hey, you should be able to talk to text and say, this is my situation. Can you give me an answer? Because I can't contact Ryan right now, or I don't want to talk to a human being. I just want to ask a kind of a guilt-free question to some AI robot and get an answer. I think that's how it's going to be used. People will use it as a guilt-free device and an avoidance of human interaction to talk to, because they already have them out now to where you can. I go pick. What did Elon say? You can go pick like the sexy version of it, and I can go talk to a girlfriend and make believe girlfriend to this thing if I wanted to, or I can go talk to a psychologist. I go talk to anyone, right? You can tell it to be something and pretend to be something, and it'll talk to you from that point of view. So
Yeah, it takes on that persona. Yeah, I think the efficiency factor of AI is incredibly useful. For instance, I use it on like ROI calculators for potential prospects. I use it to help me create the foundation of messaging and create cadences for like talk tracks and email drip campaigns or nurture campaigns. But even at the end of the day, if you're receiving one of those emails, unless you personalize it or humanize it, it it's not 100% golden. You know what I'm saying? The human element is always going to need to be there.
I think that's what people at work I've noticed, and there's some that I can queue off of as standard Joe, like that would implement it and see it, not like top echelon users of it. Um, the bad ones do what you're saying is they just type in something, they get what they get, they're too lazy, or just they need something quick enough to just take what they get and use it without doing a thorough check, or not even check, but adding, because they're not going to do a check because they think the computer's smarter than them. That's how most people operate. They're saying the computer's smarter than me. It knows better than me. I told it to do what I wanted to do. It did it. Right? They don't check it.
Yeah.
So, but they don't want to check it because they have nothing to add to it. Like they're the caliber person that doesn't have anything to add to what the computer did. So some people just don't have that human element. But if I were to do it and I would say, hey, this is what I want to say, here's my email, make it sound a little bit less attacking or a little bit less blameful, right? It's like something I don't want to tense the situation. Then I would teeter it that way and say, okay, I like that word, I like that choice instead. So it's just like using that little paperclip on Microsoft Office way back in the day, right? I mean, that little paperclip was ahead of its time. You guys remember? You guys remember that?
Talking about the jumping paperclip?
Yeah, the little paperclip on Microsoft Word to be like, hey, do you need help with anything?
Yeah.
And I forgot.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about like the icon that you click to insert a link. I was like, wait, what?
No. This was back in the. I know you guys are older and you might not have computers in high school, but there was a little guy.
Yeah. I remember
But
him.
I mean, that was a very soft version of AI, but it was there. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But it's funny that you bring that up because I don't like getting blindsided by things. That all started when I started playing football. I don't like being blindsided by things. I I want to make sure that there's nothing I'm not doing today that won't help me incorporate AI or stop it from mingling in what I'm doing and make me less valuable, right? I don't want to become less valuable. So, but I also don't know enough about it to get into details. So,
I
Yeah,
gotta
I
turn
think
light down real quick. So give me 1 second. It's a little bright.
yeah, do you think?
yeah, it's when a lot of people are going to use it for as shortcuts to because they think it's gonna help them like kind of advance or like ignore the fact that they need to like act, like really improve on things themselves. And I think it's going to probably not be good for a lot of people in a lot of ways that just don't utilize it the right way. Kind of like social media. Like if you're not
Oh
kind of
yeah,
utilize, like, you can utilize social media as a tool for a lot of things, and whether it's for business or just like entertainment, but it's definitely not gonna bring you a happiness or like some kind of fulfillment. It's gonna kind of it's one of those things where you kind of have more desires of you like the desires of the social media or like what you think AI is and can do for you versus like at the end of the day you gotta really work on yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, and AI can't do that for you.
but I mean we've touched on that. It seems like every episode now is we're a society of convenience, right? I mean, we all probably can name one thing. That's kind of the next section is like day to day. What are some of the vices that you're doing, and you're in that same kind of loop again. What are the good ones you're doing to combat it? But like we're talking about, we're importing everything. Our needs of as a society, we're importing everything, and now we're trying to make a buck off of it, and get some better deals. Um, I don't grow anything of substance to consume or take care of me and my family. Right? There's no. I just fill up my gas in my car and just keep going. I take it to someone else to work on it. There's no. It's very easy to just push it off to someone else, and that's what AI is going to be. And I think there's a big misconception of it. So hopefully people are thinking before they use, but that's a big hope, and it's not going to happen. So hopefully the survival of the fittest in this situation. Hopefully there's more good people using AI than bad people using AI. Then we'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, that kind of goes in to the next one. And guys, feel free to talk about whatever you want. I write these things down to kind of give us a genre of the day, but I haven't talked to KJ in what seems like 8 years, maybe. So
That's
um, it is pretty nuts. I was just telling these guys when you were switching on the laptop of kind of my first visualization of KJ as a scared freshman. So it was me, Jimmy, the whole gang. Me, Jimmy, Howie, Cole, maybe Gunner, and Gillum. I think we went out to, was it 509? Oh, I think it was 509. It was you. You were there with someone else on the team. It might have been Cavender, which was another thoroughbred of the squad. But we're out there. We don't. I don't think we met yet. It was before we had the meeting and things like that. So we're just kind of getting in there. You have a confrontation with some small guy, and you just get up right up on him. His nose is right here in your chest, and you're looking down at the top of his head. You're saying something to him, and me and Jimmy are just like, "This guy's on our team, dude. This guy's on our team." And come to find out, you're just a big old sweetheart with a little bit of an edge, but just like Camp. Yeah, Camp looks intimidating too when you see him. Big old guy hits the ball 700 feet.
Strongest dude. The
Yeah,
strongest dude. Oh my gosh.
I got stronger because I worked out with that guy at 5:30 a.m. I know it.
Insanity.
And you know why I got stronger? I could keep up with him a little bit on the lower half stuff, a little bit. But man, as soon as we got on our back, started pushing things with our arms, I got stronger because of how many freaking tire changes I had to do, getting the freaking weight off and getting it back on. Because Camp like, you can work with me, but I ain't touching all this weight every time. I was like, fair enough. I was like, you're benching 310. I'll take off whatever weight I need to take off for you. Conserve your energy, pal.
Yeah, no, honestly, pound for pound, one of the strongest human beings I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, there's still Jimmy shot up. Jimmy was strong as it was, but Jimmy got real strong later on when you guys left. And as far as that pound for pound saying, he was one of the more explosive guys that I've seen work out.
Jimbo is, yeah, I could
Yeah.
absolutely see that, obviously, when we were playing together. But yeah, just his work ethic and the way that guy pushes himself, I'm not surprised in the least.
Yeah, his kid's gonna be a little stud too. Any other kids he has probably, um, but yeah, I just remember rack number one, baby, mean camp. Mean camp. I had no business being there.
Like, y'all boys can have that
No
weight.
business. Oh.
Yeah, man, y'all's entire group, that was such a blessing for y'all. Like having y'all come onto the team, y'all's core group of people as freshmen incoming. I've never seen a stronger group come into a university together and then also leave the university together. Like,
Well, that's what I called you the old guard because it was just a different. I mean, it happens everywhere, I'm sure, and just like everywhere else, your parents complain about the youth and stuff, but it would happen so fast because of the probation time, man. I mean, even that the after you left, we were still grinding. We still had that core group of guys. We may have lost a lot of skill overall, but we were still like we're getting after it. People don't think we belong in this D2 conference, so let's just be scrappy. And we were above 500, I think, or right at 500, and
yeah,
putting up big runs just like the rest of the conference. I think everyone's ERA was like 7.
Yeah.
So it was a hit. It was a hitting year that year.
Yeah.
That was the year. That was the year we put up the record, right? Single season home run record.
We weren't losing for lack of runs, that's for sure.
No, we were winning or losing 12-13. That's just what
Yeah.
it was. It was. You didn't know until the last inning. There was never like this game's over. It's get on base. Someone will poke one out. So, but yeah, then after that, it was hard to probably recruit, but South, man, it's even now. So I don't know if you know KJ. My dad's the pitching coach there with Thurno right now.
no.
Yeah, so Randy left, Thurno took over, and then he got the phone call of confirming Randy was leaving while he was at a showcase with my dad. My dad was scouting for Pasco Hernando Community College, and just ran into each other. They knew each other before. That's kind of how I got introduced to the school. Is my dad knew Thurno by a mutual friend of the past, a player, and got the call and walked over, and they were just talking like normal, and was like, "Hey, you interested?" My dad's like, "Yeah," because he was he was just out of high school ball and he was jumping around. He went to where'd he go? He went to UNF for a year. He got a real good opportunity there for 1 year. Went to Pasco Hernando, and he was just driving an hour from home. Now he's living over here part time and driving back home to see my mom. It's crazy, man. It's just those two are nuts. How much they drive, and just I mean, because they're going up to see Carly in Valdosta. She plays softball up there.
Just a whole family of athletes, man.
You can call us that, I guess, but it got better as it went on. It was me. I set the tone, and then Garrett a little bit better, also a little bit better. Carly's the athlete. She drops bombs up there at Valdosta. But
You're being humble. You're being
No,
humble.
you can go. There's a website. Ryan Mosier did a good Ryan Mosier did a good job on stats. He ain't lying. They're all real. They're all very good. Um, but yeah, I remember I was second base when I was playing with Ryan at Citrus High School. Man,
Were you? Yeah, little utility guy.
you didn't care about me back then, and I was just
I remember you playing third.
I was just the coach's kid. Well, no, you had Cameron Copus. I was playing behind him. And
I just
yeah,
remember in one of the last games. I forget. It was one of the last like playoff games, and I forgot who we were playing. But I just remember like making like we were like extra innings. I remember making a diving stop at short and then throwing it to you at third. I just
might
remember
have
that.
might have. We had some good games, man. That was the one at home, right? That was pretty filled up. We had a good amount of
Yeah,
people
I think
there.
Hayden Kelly hit a walk off. I'm pretty
He
sure in that
did
game.
right in the Cornerstone Baptist parking lot over the
Yeah.
street. Yeah, we had a weird field, man, because we had the practice football field and left. We had the big higher center field fence. Then we had like a boulevard, like a main boulevard of Inverness right there. That was busy. So if you're lefty with some pop, you were hunting windshields.
Oh yeah, we love that.
Yeah, for sure. And then we had
Cow pasture in the back.
the cow pasture pig pen right there. So if the wind was blowing this way, you're smelling shit the entire time. So fun
I,
stuff.
I I gotta bring this up since we're talking about high school ball camp. Do you remember playing Frostproof in what was it fall? I think it was a fall or a spring game, one of the two. And I got ejected.
I think I do remember that. It was in Frostproof, right?
No, it was in Winter Haven. It was a tournament. I
Oh no,
laid
I don't
when
remember that.
I
No.
laid a bunt down first baseline, and your first baseman, he also played on the football team at Fort Meade, and obviously rivalry. We didn't like each other, and so he fielded the bunt right on the first baseline and like stood in the way of myself and first base, and I just didn't stop sprinting, and I just ran right through him.
I don't remember that, but I probably
Wow.
was there. Well, I had to be there. But yeah.
You were definitely, but that's my favorite high school baseball memory.
That's
I had to bring that up.
how many ejections? We'll finish with this. How many ejections does everyone have? How many times did you get thrown out of camp?
Once, I think, yeah.
When?
It was I don't know what game, what something. Bad call. I don't know. It's not like I was
man.
it's not like I was yelling at the umpire, but I remember getting ejected. And Chuck actually he had my back real good because whatever happened, it didn't make any sense. But yeah, one
Camp's
time.
arguing it. He's probably not wrong.
Yeah,
No.
I was like, I'm not about to be out here arguing with a freaking umpire, especially with my dad in the stands. Like, I ain't gonna be arguing with no grown man. But whatever it was, it was piss poor to say the least.
Yeah, that makes sense. You ever get ejected, Ryan?
No ejections, but I mean, when I was playing basketball, I got a technical for cursing, and then so I got benched the rest of the game. So I mean, I guess that counts. And I made like a bad pass, and I just remember I was like saying to myself, I was like, shit. And then, but I probably said it loud, but or no, I said fuck, but it was like to myself. But the ref teed me up, and he's like, and my coach was like, he's like, I heard you. You said bullshit right to the ref. I was like, dude, no, I didn't, but all right.
Was that Coon? Was that Coon?
Either way, I mean, it was just the wrong. Yeah, I did curse like at myself, but it wasn't bullshit. It's fun.
Yeah, there's probably 2 times I should have been ejected. One might have been camps last year, and it might have been the same umpire that threw you out. To be honest with you, because that guy was on a rampage, and I was pretty good at remembering umpires and their names and stuff. But it was Mark. Remember F&A Mark?
I can't remember any.
Dude. So I'm fighting for playing time, right? So I got to make sure I'm doing productive at bats. It's like the 6th or 7th inning. I've been catching for a while. I'm pissed off because our middle relief's in, and they're just working me to death. So I'm already mad. I'm up. It's D2 strike zone and AI strike zone. We're line to line sometimes. We understand that. We get better. But this guy this guy bangs me one on like the white line. And I'm like, Mark, that's as far as we're going, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said it respectfully because I've been talking to him all game. He loves talking. He was full of himself. But he goes, yeah, that was it. So then I think I battled one off, and then man, I heard the catcher, like go outside more, and I was like, here we go, like it's gonna be outside. I was ready to foul it off or do whatever, but man, was this thing not in the other batter's box? And yeah, I go, Mark, you lied to me. I said that in the box. I go, Mark, you lied.
You lied.
That one, I go, that one was further. And then I walked away because, Slee was just that echo chamber with the metal. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to yell right
Yeah.
here and teach my little sister more words. But
Yeah.
I go back to the dugout and get ready to go in the field. And I'm catching. So I'm putting my shin guards on, and you had the clips go on the outside, right? You clip on the outside. I'm putting my shin guards on the wrong legs. So I get like halfway up, I take it off and I just slam it down on the ground, and everyone was standing up there. They kind of look back. I just go, fucking hey, Mark. Just screamed it.
3 minutes later.
Yeah, it was good. And they're like, what the hell is going on? But like me yelling fucking hey, like Mark, like I'm calling out that guy's name, and he didn't hear me or do anything about it, but it was loud, and I was up next to Skip. So I was pissed, man.
I love that.
And then he tried to be my buddy once I got back out there. Hey man, sorry about that. I had to do it. I've been calling it both ways. Shut up, Mark. Just let me catch, dude.
I don't want to hear.
Just let me catch, man. The other time, so I didn't there, but the other time was in Cooperstown. I took a team up there. I took a team. I was coaching.
Oh,
This was like
I thought you were about to say you were playing.
Hey,
no, I didn't get to play up there. I broke my arm that summer or something. But no, I go up there with Brady. It's raining. It's the last game of the day. It was the second game of the day for us, but it was like an extra innings, crazy game. It was so fun. It was one of the most fun games of like baseball, back and forth, home run, tying it up, go ahead, striking out the side, some guy stepping up, like just kids being men, right? Like just that you're seeing them, like as Skip used to say, put their balls on the plate and get a hit, right? So, the this very large Dominican coach on the other team had broken English, right? So I mean, I can understand baseball Spanish pretty well, and I can make it work. There's like a weird rule to where you can bat two extra guys, and then they're extra hitters, and then you can take them out at some point, like you just take them out of the lineup like they never existed. So he did that, I guess, but like he did like a weird workaround thing, which was illegal, and I kind of called him out at it at the time, and then they were like, no, good. So then he put the guy back in, which you can't do. And I'm like, I was asking my bookkeeper, I was like, this guy, he was pitching, took him out, and you can't put him back in, or whatever happened. Like I paused it, I put it in protest, I called it some manager down or whatever, and they talked to us. He's like, well, no one called it out at the time, so he just got to wait because like we played a couple like an inning or two after, and I was like, so I'm calling you. Now he has to correct it, which brings up like his good hitters back to the lineup rather than like because I corrected the situation. And I got banged because he cheated earlier. I'm getting banged now because I called him out for cheating. And then that whole game, I had Monopoly Man behind the plate. They had a monocle and everything when he walked up. He's like, "Hey," and they're all volunteers, and I'm always usually real nice to those guys and umpires. But man, was he not like, "Hey, we're going to be a little bigger." They told me I need to. We got to get swings. We got to get going. It's the last game of the night. We got seating tomorrow. I go, okay, great. I'll tell my guys, no big deal. Let's win. It's Cooperstown, baby. You just get jammed and hit one out of the park by accident. So then the first inning, we have our big dog on the mound. Like our dude is on the mound, and he's usually a strike throwing machine, big tall guy. And my catcher's just, I'm like, his name was Mick. So I sounded like Rocky. I sounded like Rocky Balboa the entire night. Mick. And I'm just like, we just had a plate meeting not 5 minutes ago. You said you're going to be big, and we walked the first two batters, and my catcher's just right here. My catcher's just right down the ding dong, right here.
That can make sense, Mick.
Dude, I said that exact phrase, I'm sure, and I was like, Mick. Brady, my assistant coach, was like, dude, you got to calm down, man. I've never seen you like this. Because I was so pissed, man. I just wanted it so bad for those kids. And I was like, you just straight up lied to me. We walked the first two batters in the first inning, and here we are. We ended up losing by 1 run. It's terrible. It made us have to play another game on that next day, and we didn't have the arms for it. But I should have been ejected twice. That's how long he kept me in the game and how much I was on him. And he didn't eject me. So his ejection there is like you have to leave. Like you can't stay with the kids anymore. You got to leave. Like you're out of the whole complex. So I knew that, and I was not trying to get ejected. But man, I was pent up. So all right, let's close the yearbook here, fellas, and let me know about what's going on today. So I know if you read the day-to-day section, it was more like, "Hey, what are you doing? What you have for lunch?" and things like that. But what really stems from it is that last item, which was we went through COVID. We all four definitely had different experiences during that time when everywhere was trying to figure out how to make daily life go. My daily life did not change much. The only thing I had different was I was in the same house. I was at the same job. I was doing the same office. I never had what quarantined. I never stayed home. I just went to the office. I worked. I continued as normal. I brought a mask with me in case I had to go to a meeting, kind of thing. But I think I had my sister staying with us. We had one of our. You remember Megan Smith? You guys remember Megan Smith, British
Yeah.
gal? She was staying with us at the time, so I had a full house of girls. And I was coming back to them. They were working from home, doing whatever, schoolwork, and they were having a great time. And then, like, the extracurriculars, the nightlife, anything else was really kind of down, which is me normally. I'm a pretty boring guy. But so wasn't really much difference. And so I know a lot of people are just kind of, the new normal was always saying a thing, and it's the new normal. You just have to get used to it. And
Dude, I hated that. That drove me up a freaking wall, dude.
oh, yeah, it was.
Oh, it's just the new normal. Hey, you just get over it. There's the new normal. Like,
so
dude,
that's what I want to get at.
that's my face, dude.
I wanted to rack your guys' memories because I know Camp was overseas, getting a whole different experience. I didn't know what KJ was doing.
I was in China.
You were what?
I was in China.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why were you over there?
I was over there with a company called DBAT, man.
You say DBAT?
DBAT, yeah, we're expanding into. We were in Beijing, Chongqing.
Chongqing sounds made up.
Chongqing.
I'll be honest with you.
Chongqing. Shut up. Chongqing is the biggest city you've never heard of.
I know, but I've name dropped it multiple times by accident. Shout out Chongqing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I bet.
But yeah, we were over there. We were actually in. We were traveling to Thailand and the Philippines, and we just brought. It was for like winter vacation, right? So packed a very small suitcase in a backpack, and we are just going to enjoy our time in both locations. So we get to the airport in Beijing, and we're like, huh, why does everybody have masks and goggles and gloves on? And I'm over here just raw dogging it with a couple of my buddies. They line us up in single file lines. They tell us 6 feet apart. Nobody touch anybody. All of the concessions inside of the airport are shut down. You can have a bottle of water. And that's how we traveled. And then I get some messages from my family, and they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Did you know this about COVID? And I was like, figuring it out on the fly. So we get to the Philippines, and our academy back in China, they call us. They're like, hey, you guys should go back to the United States, like right now. We're like, okay, well, we'll do that. You guys have a timeline on when we're going to come back so we can, reset, get back to work. They're like, we'll let you know. So go back to the States, and been back for 5 years now. The rest of my stuff is still there. But yeah, that was my experience with COVID.
That's wild, dude. Just
you got kicked out of China. That's insane, man.
I'll tell you what, that's pretty nice. They gave you a heads up to like get out of there.
Yeah, they did, honestly, because if we would have went back to Beijing, we would have been quarantined, and you guys know how that goes. In China, they're not playing that game.
That would have been hell on earth, dude.
Yeah, because I'm not staying in a hotel room for days on end. I'm not doing that.
No. So once you got back here, so they kicked you out at the beginning of it. What time period of COVID were you?
I got back in February of 2020.
Yeah, so right at the beginning of it. So what was like? You were back in Winter Haven.
Yeah, I had to reset and I moved back to, I went to St. Augustine for a while.
Hmm.
I stayed in St. Augustine, but yeah, I ended up coming back to Winter Haven during that time. And we're talking about nightlife, right? There's hardly any nightlife in Winter Haven, let's be real. Anyways. But yeah, I mean there wasn't a whole lot of, I guess it wasn't normal, if you're going to Publix to get food and stuff, people are asking you to spray down everything in Lysol before you take it into your home. But I just think the entire thing, obviously, as you guys probably agree with, was blown completely out of reality. It was way bigger than it probably should have ever been. Um, Not taken away from the people that died if they did actually, contract it and pass from it. Okay, understand. But for the rest of individuals with a decent immune system, I think it was blown out of proportion tremendously.
Yeah, I think we all agree with you there. I
I
remember.
did not get vaccinated.
Yeah,
No,
lucky you.
what about? Yeah, camp
I ain't
was
have
at
no dude.
Uncle
Lots of
Sam.
sorts.
I was talking to our brother Garrett too, and I mean, Riddle made him do it. I mean, basically, well, they didn't make him, but they tried to early on, and then some. A lot of people did, some didn't, but they canceled the season anyways back then. So
Right.
he's not. I'm not gonna say tainted, but he's tainted.
Yeah, if you didn't, the military was, if you didn't get that vaccine, dude, like for 6 months, your life was just like miserable. Like they treated those dudes like, and granted, yeah, I probably contracted COVID like 3 or 4 times, even after I got vaccinated.
Right.
But these dudes, like, they treated them like the plague. It was crazy, man.
What
Like,
did you get all your boosters?
I got 2 boosters. Yeah, like dude, it's a different it's a different world than being just a normal citizen. Especially even when you first get in, right? I got so many shots when I first get in.
Yeah.
Like, what are more? Honestly, it's like, what are more shots gonna do inside my body? When you first go to basic, man, they stick you with so many needles, draw so much blood. Like, I was like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't really. Do I wish I wouldn't have got it? Yeah, but I've been trying to detox my body. I have like there's certain like supplements you can buy to try to counteract the spike proteins that I've been taking. So like,
So what was I remember talking to you a little bit while you were overseas. You kind of a couple of the Snapchats you were sending and things like that. Were you guys like on a training and then you got back like a couple of days after it kind of like the news kind of broke?
dude,
Or
so I got to Italy January 14th, 2020.
welcome to it.
February, probably left Italy January 29th to go to Latvia for a 1 week training rotation, and then we're going to go back to Italy for a weekend and then go back to Latvia. Weird, but that's just how they did it. We got to Latvia probably February 7th. That first week was about to end. They're like, "You're not going back to Italy. Italy shut down." We're like, "What?" Okay, we're just out in the woods at this point. So then we just like continue training for that next week, no big deal. But then they're like, we can't go back to Italy, and we're like, what? What are you guys talking about? So I think we were there for extra 3 or 4 days, and them trying to figure out how because the biggest thing was us having weapons too. The Italian government didn't want, like, usually it's taking weapons across borders is a whole big thing, and then blah blah blah. But so we had to figure out a way to like get the weapons back, opposed to us taking them on the bus like we normally did. Um, so that was a thing. But then after that, yeah, we got back and immediately like we were on base for months. Like it was horrible. It was bad.
So you didn't have any other like trainings or anything like that in between.
Oh no, no, no. When they say you're quarantined, you can still get on a bus on base and go back to Germany to train, but you can't leave base to for any leisure. Crazy enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So probably from January to August. Probably did another, besides that first one, probably did another 3 trainings. But it was all from like quarantine on base to Germany and then right back.
And that's
So,
the thing that pissed me off the most. Out of all the things that people, my brain's hurting right now thinking about all the chaos and talking heads that were, or this is wrong, this is right, this is, yeah, who are you to think you could do that? But it was, they told you, specifically you and a lot of other jobs, you know, the emergency jobs, or what was the term they kept using? Was it
uh,
necessary, or what was the,
Oh,
um,
essentially.
essential? There you go.
essential.
Essential. When they ranked people, essential, non-essential, basically they were saying, I dub you important enough to go contract or spread the disease. Like we're okay with you doing that. Now, if I and my God-loving self wanted to go do it as my own free will and choose to go risk my safety or others by that, can't do that. It was just a blatant disregard for individual right, just blatant. And everyone was like, "Yeah, this is fine," and you're evil if you disagree with it. And we just like now we're talking about Pope Trump. Like that's 5 years glazed by, and now it's Pope Trump, and here we are. Like I wanted to revisit it because I feel like it's been long enough to where a lot of people don't revisit things, and
Oh,
you know
COVID never happened.
that's what I'm
COVID.
saying. It is unfortunately the new normal. Just set in
It's one
and
of
whatever.
those history things, right? Whenever like it's so far detached from the present that they can go back and if you read about COVID in 20 years, it's going to be completely different than the life we lived, which is the
Yeah.
maddening part. Oh, also, we were the only my unit was the only infantry unit training in the US Army. So all the units that were back in the States, they were at home. That was what we were mad about. Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your story, Ryan? You on a chicken farm at that time?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was still in Clearwater doing plumbing, so yeah, I
That's
guess
right.
we were essential, which is such a slap in the face, dude. The whole thing pisses me off like so much. I was like, from the get go, I was so heated about it because you could see like I could see early on the predictive programming of them like slowly introducing COVID into like newspapers and the news, and then it's like you see them just all you know. I'm sure Camp knows, but the whole lockstep, all you got all these voices kind of echoing the same thing, and then all of a sudden it's like based, and this is how I know it's you're being deceived is because they're trying to influence people's thoughts based off of fear. And so anytime you're being led to like make a decision out of fear, it's not that whoever's telling you that is not thinking about your best interest. And so everything that came with it is it's, you know, yeah, okay, you're not essential, you're essential, you can do this, you can do that. Oh, this is the new normal, you can't do this. And it's like it's shocking how many people were like all of a sudden just okay with like it's like who is this guy to make like that's not what the law is. There's no like all these things. There is still a law. I don't have to be I don't have to be a freaking genius to understand like what my basic rights are. And so it's like, oh, you're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're not this or that. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like I'm a tax-paying citizen out here, and like I don't need like I can think a little, you know, for myself, and everything that they're doing is just wrong. And it was very maddening. It was very maddening for a long time to like to see people just willing to just uh what they were willing to just kind of forget about and do and start acting like. And it's almost what really bothered me too was like I think deep down, and it kind of goes along the same thing with AI of like they kind of people kind of wanted it to happen, like they wanted to live in like, oh, there's a pandemic, they're like, oh, we're part of this big huge thing now. I think it brought like maybe some sense of purpose to people's lives because a lot of people like are lacking that. So it was like a thing that they could like buy into and I don't know, get involved with. And it's like, dude, you guys are like out of your mind. And what really makes me mad too is like now that it's all like behind us, it's like, oh yeah, no one was like, dude, they would treat people like if you weren't like on board with what the mainstream thing, what they were saying, dude, they were like literally, they're like after you. And then now it's just like, oh, hey, everything's all cool, man. But hey, that whatever. It's like, dude, no, I didn't forget. I'll never forget that shit, dude. Sorry, I know it's a family friendly podcast here, but man,
I already dropped 2 F-bombs.
that's dude. But yeah, that whole COVID thing, man, just gets me. I had to like just stop. Anyways, yeah, I had to stop thinking about it. But yeah, I ended up living in Georgia, on the chicken farm. So honestly, all the outside stuff was kind of, I was being told like, oh yeah, get a shot, do all that, but it's like at the end of the day, dude. At the end of the day, it's rape. Like you can't just stick something in me and without my consent, dude. That's like straight up. That's rape, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not like get out of here, dude. I did not
Yeah.
consent. You
KJ's
can't just
running
stick
around.
that into my body, dude. Based off of what?
It's non-consensual. Yeah.
I
Like,
tell you what,
that's crazy,
You know what?
dude.
I don't know if KJ stood up and walked away because I can't tell the difference between him and his shadow right now.
No, I gotta fix this mess.
Nah, you're all right, dude. And my lighting was. I doubt you listened to the episodes before, which I don't know why.
The first one, it was nice and dark outside.
It was dark outside, and I was just right here. My microphone is terrible. So, like I said,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no. What I was gonna say to Ryan was, it was never mind. Go ahead. I gotta refigure it out. I just made out with my microphone.
No, I was gonna say, Ryan, talking about the programming, right? They do the same thing in the military. It's like we already had 100% of our rights, right? They took them all away and gave us back 80%, and they're saying, like you're saying, like they said, oh, this is a new normal. That's the same thing that happens to us. It's like they'll give us like barracks, and then they'll take them away, make us go sleep out in the field in a sleeping bag, and then like we're so excited when we go back to the barracks. Like and realistically, like I'm normally living in an apartment or in a nicer building, but like they just take so much away from you when they give it back a little bit. You're so happy for it, and I think that's just like that's more of a human condition than anything. Like, but yeah.
But that's a dominant and a subservient. That's the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's total psyop. Total psyop, though. Like, I mean,
I think I think our rights, just like our dollar, have been getting inflated. It just keeps going and going. They keep trying to make these other things seem like rights, and they're not. They're privileges. So if you can give privileges out under the disguise of rights, then people are like, "Oh, I feel more like powerful, and I feel more free." But you're really not, because they can just take those privileges away.
Yeah.
Like Camp says, condition you to have less privileges, and then give you some breadcrumbs and make you feel good about it, just to keep you stringing along enough, or just be miserable. And what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, Camp? We're gonna throw tea in the harbor. We're gonna do something about it.
Nobody's willing to do that.
I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. There's a select few.
I knew we had him on here for a reason.
I'm always down for a revolution.
So my other question, and not as much as I want to hear about your guys' day-to-day lives, I think I'd be more interested to hear your point of view of. So there have been plagues and epidemics forever, right? We hear about all of them. Do we think, as this one, yes, people did die, and we recognize that. We feel for those people, and obviously they're sitting at home watching this right now, going, "Well, yeah, it feels a lot different without my grandma here than it did 5 years ago." I understand that, but do we think any of the historical plagues and historical disease outbreaks, I would say with the exception of like the HIV/AIDS epidemic, because I think that was a little bit planned. That was a little bit planted, yeah. So I guess besides that one, which I don't know why I would exclude it, but like the historic ones, why would King Philip the whatever want this, the Black Plague to break out and all my servants and the people I reign over are now dead, and actually they're dying? Why would they want to do that? So I guess they've used that, or at least they told us the stories about those to make us fear those plagues and epidemics, to where we'll just fall in line and try to save ourselves because we don't want to die. But we also have to keep serving whoever we're serving. So, any thoughts on that, I guess?
We know the stories. Oh, you can go ahead, KJ.
I was just gonna say, I don't think the Black Plague was I don't think that one was on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's what I'm saying?
But
Yeah.
is it real? Like,
I don't know.
Well, with that Pope
I
Trump
was there.
photo looked pretty real, so it's gonna be tough to believe what you see nowadays.
That's
in
fun.
another exactly in another 75 years, people might think Trump was the Pope.
Dude, people,
I'm writing a textbook now.
dude, people don't know what people like. Young generations having a tough time deciding what if the difference between a man and a woman. So it's like,
Yeah,
dude, yeah, how are they gonna know anything, dude?
they're
It's
gonna
gonna
look. They're
constantly be
gonna look.
cycled.
Yeah, they're gonna look at this time, and both Trump that post and the new Pope came out at the same time, and they're gonna see that Trump's post got more views than the actual Pope's posting. And they're gonna be like, well, clearly Trump was the actual Pope and the president. Like, they're not gonna know the difference.
Dude, we're just
Yeah.
gonna be like old dudes, and like we're gonna hear like young kids talking about something, and we're just gonna be like the cranky old guy, like that's not. This is what really happened. And they're like, oh, dude, that guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like we all know this.
Yeah.
This is really the truth.
The only thing I can hope for is that I save these videos to the hard drive and we actually have video evidence to back that up. But who knows if they're out there faking stogies with bogeys in 20 years, you know? Could be
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
think I brought it up, but did I tell you about the German lady? There was like a German lady who was alive during the Holocaust, and she got put in jail because she was like, "No, this stuff didn't happen that way." It was like a big thing for a little bit, but obviously it went away. But yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
the stuff they were just saying or teaching, it was like she was like, "No, this didn't happen that way," and they were trying to shut her up. Like, yeah,
Yeah. It's only episode 5. We're not talking about the Holocaust yet. So
yeah,
you got to know your limits. You got to know your
yeah,
limits.
Camp was
Save
ready
that
to
for
go.
after episode 20.
yeah.
Yeah, episode 20 will be the Epstein files and the Holocaust. That's episode 20. Mark it down.
I would like to rejoin for episode 20.
Yeah, I gotta be
Or
on
just-
that.
All right, we're all gonna meet in Nancy Pelosi's office. Make sure you wear your headdresses and get ready to go. Um, the thing with AI, and I was telling someone the other day, I came across it like towards the very trail end of the COVID eras when people actually still were using it as an excuse for why they couldn't meet or didn't have their work done and things like that. Um, was you could type in like a 3-digit or 4-digit number and say COVID deaths afterwards and say 396, some random number, 396 COVID deaths. And no matter what number you put in, I probably did a dozen of them, just really off the wall numbers. You would get a bunch of fake generated, AI news articles, which I know they use. I know when I look up a recipe for something and I get a whole life story of Mary Jo and about how grandma, I know those are all fake, made up AI generated recipes, and he puts recipe at the bottom. So I scroll past all the ads. Same thing with these news sites. You could type in the number, you get a news site up, and it would be some town you never heard of, but there would be exactly that many number of deaths anywhere across just the United States. Just the United States. I'm not talking about worldwide, but you could type in any number, and I know numbers well enough to know that that's not possible. I know that they don't do that with public records, and they'll go, nearly 100. They'll say almost 100, or they'll say, shy of 80. They're not going to go give out those numbers. Those numbers aren't that exact. And I just thought that was crazy.
That's a great point. And to uh, not piggyback off of that, but also, I guess, run parallel to what you're saying is when people were dying during the COVID times, they were blaming everything on COVID, even if it was natural death, like natural causes, or they had a ton of underlying conditions. Nope, they blanketed it all with saying it's COVID.
I
So
would
that's
love,
why those numbers.
They give a lot of money for it, so it's like
yeah,
They
I would
know
love to.
inflate.
I'd love to know if Mr. RFK Jr. will backtrack. I wonder if that's something we can mandate. They're not doing much. That's another topic too. Is the Trump administration not really?
I got a question about RFK. I heard from someone he said this, but I don't know if it is or not. Maybe you guys would know. Did he say the public's biggest health threat is anti-Semitism? Anti-Semitism?
I saw that picture too. I don't know if that's true.
I didn't hear that. I don't know.
So I hope not, because that would be not true.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But
How, Camp, how do the black people feel about that? I thought racism was the biggest thing.
Dude, no. Dude, the biggest threat to the black community is racism. I don't know.
Is
It's so
anti-Semitism?
anti, maybe, I don't know. Dude, there's a video of an older black lady blaming white people for like her eating habits. It's hilarious.
I've seen that one.
Oh man, it's great. I'm like, these people are wild. These people are wild.
I remember right after Trump got elected, Camp and I and my wife went out to a local bar, which is DeLand. I don't know if you guys have been out in DeLand before.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a liberal arts college in a liberal arts town. Uh, all these stores and bars and things have all the colors of the flags you can think of, and a lot of the we're your friends type of signs in the doors to make sure that they can sell beer to gay people. But we're out there talking. Camp is animated. Camp's excited. I mean, he was just excited that we weren't having Kamala Harris in the office,
I
I
was
guess.
so happy.
And I'm like, Camp, if the roles were reversed and I was being that loud and saying the things that he was saying, I would have had a mob around me. It would have been.
But
Charlie
that's why
Cook.
I do it, because you guys can't. All right.
Which is terrible, by the way.
He
That's
takes
that
on more
privilege.
burdens, dude.
That's that privilege that I was talking about earlier, Camp. That's that
Yeah.
privilege, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But I was sitting there going, I can't believe he's saying all these things, and no one has said a word in downtown DeLand. So, because
Somebody
we went out
do it.
there for lunch.
I think that goes into the NPC. That starts going into the NPC realm of like people. They can't even like it like crosses their wires, and they can't even like comprehend like what's going on, and they can't like. They're at a total like just standstill of like how to even act.
Well, that and who's gonna try and get in Camp's face and say something? Like whoever he voted for, I'm cool with. He looks like
No,
he hit.
Brian, that's so true. Well, yeah, I've been waiting for us to get to the NPC one specifically
Get into it.
because I went to a Red Cross first aid / CPR course.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time for the captains.
Red Cross CPR first aid course.
All right, there we go.
And it was 5 or 6 of us, and just to get certified under, for future jobs or whatever. It was a weekend thing, like $50, whatever. But I got there, and these people who signed up for this course, like they had enough wherewithal to like go sign up to get certified. But like as we were doing this like 6-hour course, I'm like, if these are the people that are willing to actually go help, like go and get certified to help people, and I would not trust any of these people with my life, what are the rest of the world like? What's the rest of the world doing? Because I didn't trust not a single one of those people to give me CPR, put a tourniquet on me. Like if I was dying on the side of the road and I saw one of those people, I would try to save myself. Like that's how bad it was. And those are the people that are willing to like go out and get certified. And I'm like, how bad is this as a culture? Just the lack of I was talking to my mom earlier today trying to find a word, just the lack of not intelligence. They weren't like not intelligent, but
Awareness.
I still haven't thought of it. What do you say?
Awareness, maybe.
Aware? No, I'll think of the word later.
Assertiveness.
No, I have to. I've been thinking of the word all
But
day.
you're looking for something like preparation and safety and secure, like something like that, right?
Yeah. So yeah, these people. I don't know. I'll think of the word, but yeah, that's my NPC. It was so eye opening. I was like, these are the people that want to help. What are the other 98% of people doing that? Like
they're dying, Kim.
And kind of the same thing with jury duty today. There's 400 people in there, and as I look around the room, I'm like, these are like everyday people. I think even this small group, right? We hold ourselves to a higher standard. We're young professionals. We're men, and there's a certain level of go get itness I think we all have, but like the average person doesn't have that, and you can see it on their face, and it's crazy. Like I don't know, it's
well, you can tell by the NPC thing for me is like, what are you talking about day to day? Obviously, we do this. We schedule a call. We get on it. We give you a little list to do. Like we talk about the things we want to. But I guarantee, if I met any one of you guys at a bar or at my house or anywhere else, we'd be talking about this stuff. It would come up. right? I as much as I love sports and baseball and I was raised that way, I'm not going to talk like an ESPN commentator every single day because that's
Yeah.
just not what I want to talk about. It's not going to further me as a human being. Do I like watching a baseball game or something every once in a while? Sure, 100%. Am I going to make fun of you if I know the team that you really like is loses? 100% sure. But it was like that when I got into college. I don't have a college football team. I don't know if you guys do or not, but I don't have like any ties. We went to Embry-Riddle, go Eagles, forever an Eagle. But I- I'm not gonna I'm not gonna buy a shirt or something from someone that I got my ER. I got my letter up here. It's in my. I got the old white piping, white blue piping in my office. I stole on the way out because now they have Nike gear. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
but yeah,
seen,
just
and I think it goes like with the kind of with the COVID thing too. Is like I think a lot of people, most people, let external factors dictate their actions versus like them like really thinking and knowing and doing like what they set out to do. And so it's kind of like that. There's a bunch of most people are followers, and there's not enough leaders. And I will say at camp, like the people that are actually showing up, that's like half the battle is like showing up to even get certified and do that. And it's like I
Yeah.
think the people who really, because like I know a bunch of people just like us, all the guys here who like very smart people, like very pretty disciplined people, and have thoughts about things, but it's kind of where it's a lot of times it's where it stops. Is like people will make an observation, will say, okay, this is bad, this is messed up, that makes no sense, this is crazy, and then that's kind of it. But it's like, if the world gets as crazy as we allow it to get. So like if we're capable of being like leaders, whether it's just at work, at our own house, in our community, it's like we need to actually be stepping up to the plate and kind of showing up, taking on more responsibilities to like make these little changes instead of thinking like, okay, the world's so messed up and that's just how it is. It's like, no, if we actually we need to get our act together. We need to kind of start taking these little baby steps and it's a long process. It's a lifelong thing. It'll probably be a thing that we don't live long enough to even see it, but we actually do have a lot of influence and power, like to start making steps in the right direction
but
and
that's
kind of
kind.
not being like a fellow NPC. You're like, because if by not doing anything, you're just like a step above an NPC.
I'm glad you took it. I'm glad you took it there because it's exactly where I wanted you to take it. I feel like a puppet master right now. Yeah, this is the first slip that I sent out that I was like, this is perfect. This is right where I wanted it to go. Because it leads into the next one, which was like, what's our biggest problem? And it's the same kind of mindset that I have is you can sweep things under the rug as much as possible. That's what we were calling NPCs do, non-player characters for you guys that never played video games. But you just sweep things under the rug. Yeah, oh, we might not have ever went to the moon. Let's just sweep it under the rug. Oh, that's kind of weird. Just sweep it under the rug. Well, my rug started getting built up to where I kept tripping on it every day. So then I started a podcast and let's hash things out. But it goes back to like the next thing I want to talk about was like what's our biggest threat. And we don't have to go to this thing. I want to stay on this NPC thing and really knock it dead. But not everyone's meant to be a leader. You can't have too many chiefs, right? Too many Indian chiefs. What is that saying? So um, not everyone can be a leader. So the select few that can be leaders, that have the tools to be leaders. My question is not why aren't they stepping up? Is like should they? And I guess we talked about a couple weeks ago with I think when Camp and I were kind of discussing religion, and even with Ryan, is like the way the Bible puts it, and the way you typically see it is that something bad happens, and then a good answer comes. Right? Something bad happens, bad takes the first, or evil takes the first step, and then the good comes in to counteract that step. Because you can't prepare for something that hasn't happened. You can't counteract evil that hasn't happened yet, because then there's just nothing to do. It's aimless. So bad does have to happen first, that's a whole nother topic of why do bad things happen in the world when if there's a God? It's because good has to come and answer it. But if I have the capability to be a leader, if I have the ability to do whatever it is, positive impact outside of my immediate circle, right? Because that's where the whole domestic or abroad situation comes from. Why are we protecting Ukraine? Why would I care about someone else in my neighborhood, city, state, or somewhere else, rather than it's morally good and feels good, before I make sure that my initial unit, my surrounding unit, my immediate unit is taken care of, right? If I'm not leading that initial unit, why should I be branching out and spreading myself too thin? Would be my exploratory brainstorm on it. I do think it's good. Like if you have the ability to do good on a large scale, push the envelope, go as much as you should. But then I also have that drawback of going, okay, I can do level 5 great, but I'm slacking on level 1. And is that really, are you really a complete leader? Are you really doing what you need to be doing? I guess that's kind of where I was trying to tie in the conversation. So I'm glad you took it there on not everyone's meant to be a leader. You should see that, take advantage of it, and be motivated and go, which I know we all are. But at some point, I kind of go, is this what I should be doing? Like, am I putting my efforts in the right location? Does that make cohesive sense at all?
No, I got you. I got you. I
KJ,
know.
you want to go? You have to jump off soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to
But
jump
we
in
got
for this. But no, Bogues, I agree. I hear what you're saying. I guess more so, what would be the question that you want to kind of tailor the conversation towards?
So I don't know.
Or the
how
top?
do you are you asking like how do you justify being or doing for level 5 when you aren't completely doing level 1 correctly? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, but it's kind of like, why are we trying to explore space if we haven't perfected society here? Does that make sense?
Okay, so we're talking about it in a sense of like an entire society
Well,
versus
that's the scale, right? So like I want to grow the company that I'm working at. I want to hire more people. I want to train good people. I want to make more money. I want to expand. I want to do good work, right? If you're talking about growing a company that way. But there's inefficiencies in my office currently, and those always don't align, right? The expansion and progressive and the innovation does not align with maintenance and solidifying and building a stronger foundation. Those aren't one and the same. That's why we have all these top heavy innovation companies that you can invest in, these growth companies that are working off of make believe money and haven't produced anything yet, right? So it's just, is the foundation more important, or is the end goal more important? Is kind
yeah,
of where I'm at, and
that's
those
perfect.
don't always intersect with the same priorities. And I think the argument against capitalism in that regard is that the foundation is good, yes, but then you can get wobbly towards the top as you keep going if you go too fast.
Yeah, I think everything is a balance, right? And you have to think about what's your motive, what's your motivation behind doing the things that you're doing. All right. So if we're talking strictly from a, a typical American point of view or standard in terms of a corporation, what's the one thing that they're after? It's not to be morally correct 100% of the time. It's for financial gains and capital development. So from a American societal direction, seems like money is the motivational factor on how leadership controls the organization. So, if they're slacking in terms of being morally correct, that's fine. We're bringing in an extra $75 million worth of revenue for this fiscal year, which is, if you ask me, it's an ass backwards way of thinking, but I feel like that's incredibly common in the society that we live in.
And I guess that's what I was getting at, is that that's the way it always goes. We shove morals to the side for the sake of big global overall, what you can call growth, or what you can paint a picture with. So every time you go to the moral argument, I think that circle gets smaller, that area of influence gets smaller. If you're choosing morals over anything else and you're choosing that fulfillment side of it, your circle and your scope will be much smaller, I think.
I think maybe you have to
Yeah,
do
no, you're
both.
definitely
Oh, you can go ahead,
You
Ryan.
do have to. You definitely have
No,
to
you
do
good.
both. I agree with that.
Oh, I was just gonna say
Fellas,
you do both
Uh, uh,
because at
uh,
least what's up?
I think it's lagging a little
Yeah,
bit, so
yeah.
it,
that's probably
it'll
why.
it'll lag a little bit on here, but it'll record okay. But I know it's hard to understand that way. Um, but go ahead. Can't finish your thought, and then we can let KJ hop off if he's got to go to bed.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least for me, as I'm like training and running and whatever, I have to do my daily. I have to make sure I do my daily 3 miles, right? Even when like I have like a 20 mile or a 30 miler to do on the weekend, or I'm signing up for a race or whatever. So like KJ said, you have to have that balance, but you have to, I guess you're saying on level one, I have to make sure I'm doing level one every day. And then I can reach
Yeah.
up and touch level five when like the time's right. It's just balance. Like specifically for me, like I have to do those 3 miles every day. Rain, sun or shine. And you know, the other stuff, the big stuff, you still kind of reach up and try to touch, but you know.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It is always a balance, right? It's never the world is bifurcated on so many different things, and it's always yes or no, black or white, and all that stuff. But it's a ever flowing and ever circulating just balance and ecosystem. So it's hard to do, but like you said, if we can grab the bull by the horns, as if you would call yourself leaders, and affect the circle you can, all that stuff starts happening. So a lot of it is, it's never one big movement. It's a lot of little movements making a big movement typically.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's not, and that's the thing is, it's you can't think too big about it or like things happening too fast. It comes down to the doing the little things right, you know, day by day, and those little things consistently, and then it's going to build over time when you look back into such a big thing. And as far as like leadership, it's like because you can be a leader in there's so many different things you can be a leader in, and it's like you don't just because like I'm a leader at work, for example, doesn't mean I'm not like I have to be a leader in something else per se. That's where some like just because someone works for me doesn't mean that they can't teach me something in a different area or something like that. So it's kind of we're always like relying on each other, and that's why it's important. I mean, just like fellowship and kind of doing the things we're doing is, we don't even, none of us are living near each other, but to be able to like kind of be in contact with each other and think about things and help each other grow, it's like everybody needs that. And, you know,
yeah,
I
no,
don't know
that was my
exactly where I was going with
that's
that, but
people keep asking me why I'm doing this, and a lot of it is because of that. I know my shortcomings. I beat them with a dead horse, and or beat them like a dead horse, and um, it's just analogies are my shortcoming, I guess. So and euphemisms, um, but yeah, I know that I'm surrounded by high quality men and women, but men for this podcast purpose for now. And I want to hear from you guys. So I'm glad you guys take the time and join us. KJ, are you out of time? You got to jump off.
Yeah, fellas, I'm gonna have to hop, but Cody, iron sharpens iron, right? I'm very grateful that you had me on the podcast and grateful to reconnect with you guys. Ryan, pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I got your new number now, so I'll be able to. If you tried to call me, I'll be able to loop you in and keep
Yeah.
you posted. If you ever feel like you have a topic you want to discuss, reach out to me. Say, hey man, get me on. I do have a real job that I work 45 hours plus sometimes at. So,
Me
but I mean, this whole thing started because Ryan texted me and was like, "Dude, are we doing this? Are we doing Stogies with Bogies?" I think he was feeling a little lonely, and I don't blame him because so was I. And I said, "Sure, let's go. Let's get after it."
I
So,
freaking love it, man, and I can't wait to be on an episode here in the near future, man.
yeah,
All
spread
right,
the word.
I will.
great meeting you,
Blessings.
dude.
Have a great night. Until next time.
I
See
get
you.
you. He's still here, sticking around now. So I mean, that's the real.
And
I
can I
mean,
say something? Let me say something real quick too, is,
yeah,
it's not even, because like I literally can't take credit for anything. It's one of those things I've noticed of like when you want to help someone grow, or when you see guys that have like goals and things that they want to do. I just honestly, like I know the way you were talking about doing the podcast, and I could see how excited you were about doing it and everything. And honestly, I just wanted to encourage you to do it. You know, because
No,
I know that's all it
I
takes
appreciate it.
sometimes is to like, because we always have thoughts of like of self doubt and like you can find a million reasons not to do something. So it's like you never know how long it can how long uh or how much of an impact you can have just by like kind of just encouraging your friend or your brother, someone you're close to and helping them kind of do that, you know.
No, I mean, and that's exactly how I took it. Is that it wasn't a calendar reminder that I set to nag myself to do something. It was someone you care about saying, "Hey, man, you seem pretty excited about this. We're gonna do this. I'm excited about it." So definitely appreciate it. It was the push in the right direction. Um, a lot of my issues have always been the overthinking part. I've always been an overthinker, and I've been dissecting why. Like, why do I overthink? Um, a lot of it is preparedness. I want to make sure and I don't want to be stupid, right? I don't want to be called ignorant or stupid. I don't want someone to say, well, you're not seeing it from this point of view or this perspective. So that's where the pursuit of perspective comes from. It's making sure that I'm not making a knee jerk reaction on something that needs to be thought out a little bit more. And I do it to a fault. I do it for things that don't need to be. But you go 15 rounds with something for a while, then you either win or lose the fight, and you make a decision after that. But a lot of it is, I'm doing something here. I still have self doubt about, is this even good? Does it have to be good? What? I mean, we're just recording FaceTime calls at the end of the day, but it's
Yeah.
fun. I feel like if someone were to watch this that didn't know us and um, they're like, wow, those are motivated guys, like you're saying, the genre of guys that we all try to be, and I think there's a lot of young men in particular that are like that. And like you're saying, they just need a friendly nudge. And maybe that's the privilege that people talk about is, oh, you're lucky, right? Well, no, I have a cousin that texted me, said, we're doing this thing, or is it still on your radar? Or that happens. So now we're trading verses and trading thoughts and COVID
Yeah, and
stories.
we're gonna all get road bikes and get a riding group going next. All right. So
I like where this is headed.
I got to start getting cash flow positive before I start buying bikes, man. Um, But yeah, we'll end with we can finish it up here pretty soon. We'll stick with the day to day stuff. Like camps, you talked about running a mile. Give me your perfectly executed day. Like you, right? That's what you're a machine, man. You're a well-oiled machine. So
yeah, I would like to talk about my faults first. And chocolate, man, chocolate and sugar is my downfall. I've been doing pretty good about the eating the main meals, but man, that is just the bane of my existence. I just cannot help myself, and I
yeah.
know that is it. But
You want me to pull up a Santa Fe picture or no? No.
yeah, Santa Fe picture. Yeah,
Prince
um,
Fielder.
yeah, and I
But did you
definitely
play at Santa Fe?
yeah we are.
Dude, I totally remember you now.
And me and Cody talked about this for a quick minute, and I was like, "Oh, he played at St. John's." I was like, "Well, we were there at the same time."
No.
Yeah.
I scrimmaged all those guys senior year of high school when I was with Gator Ball when Johnny Wiggs would scrimmage us. I remember Camp would hit anything that our dumbass pitchers were throwing. So
Yeah, great times. Great times at Santa Fe.
I think I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but I think I don't know, maybe not. I I never played at St. John's. I played at Polk, but I think what year
that's
did
on
you
me.
graduate?
That's on me. I keep saying St. John's.
Yeah, I thought you played at St. John's.
I did know I went to St. John's for 2 years. I never played. I had Tommy John.
Oh, okay. Uh, I would have been at Santa Fe fall of 22 to spring or fall of 12 to spring of 14. Yeah.
Okay, I think I played you when I was at Polk, and
Yeah, could be.
I think I beamed you. Not
Oh,
beamed
really?
you. I think I hit you with the curveball. Now I'm really thinking about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
It would have
started
been
it
at
off with you.
it would have been at Polk State too because I don't think we ever played y'all.
Oh, we played you in like a preseason, dude, and it was like, dude, you guys beat us. The wind was blowing like 50 miles out, dude, and you guys beat us like 20-2.
Was it at Polk State though?
No, it was at Santa Fe.
At Santa Fe? I don't remember that then.
It was
Just
like
remember.
it was like fall. It wasn't. I don't even think it was like
Yeah, okay.
during the season. But I'm sorry. You like
No, no,
chocolate?
He
no.
does like
Yeah,
chocolate.
but I try my best because I have to wake up for my work anyway. I wake up at 4:30 for PT Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have to be there at 5:15. So I usually run Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and then I'll do Tuesday, Thursday. I sleep in, and I'll usually run in the afternoon. And then
The
also,
dope.
I'm a runner that lifts now. I don't really go to the gym anymore. Truth be told, um, I got the bike. That's been helping the joints a little bit. But yeah,
What's sleeping in?
sleeping. I'll sleep when I'm dead, dude. I don't even.
Well, you said you sleep in on the non PT days. What's sleeping in?
Sleeping in probably 6. my
Oh,
body just my body just wakes up. I can't. I'm not like I can't sleep in past past a certain time anyway. So, but I'll like if sometimes I will if I wake up at 6 on Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'll go for like a 1 mile run. I'll try to get 1 mile out of the way. That way, I only have to do 2 miles in the afternoon. But just chipping, you got to just chip away at it piece by piece. Just a little bit at a time. Even if it's just
Yeah.
1 mile, man.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm on the other end of the spectrum there. It's not the front end of my day is not as active as that is. So a workaholic is what I've become, and I need to detox from that. And part of that is that's why I brought up the COVID time. I was like, why am I like this? I'm like this because that was all there was to do, and I was a motivated new engineer that wanted to learn the trade, get good at it, and be proficient way better, way faster than anyone else is my age. So that whole motivation needs to be restructured, and you know, getting ready to get married and hopefully start a family is also motivating that way too, to kind of restructure priorities, health, and all that stuff. So and schedule, but I ain't waking up at no 4:30. I can tell you that, unless I'm having to take a piss. That's what
yeah,
I'll do.
that's my piss time right there.
Mine too. It works out.
Yeah. What's so? What happens before you get in the old plumbing van, Ryan?
Uh, yeah, I'm not like a super morning person. I mean, I try to get up at 6, and then I just kind of got to get a coffee. I just kind of like the almost first hour. I just kind of lounge around a little bit, get waking up, take my morning poop, you know, all the good stuff.
Make sure the
Try to get
body's
in a
working.
little. I've been trying to get in a little Bible stuff or some kind of reading for even if it's like 5 minutes, just to try to like get the little habits going. Um, but yeah, I mean, morning times after that first hour, I'm pretty much just trying to get right to work and stuff, and then afternoons are just because the job, you never know what you're getting into during the day. So it's like if I get off at a decent time, then I try to hit the gym like 2 or 3 times a week, and then yeah, I just got my eating habits they need improve. Like I'm bad with it because I can kind of get away with it and stay lean and skinny, but I
I'll
know in the long
always
run
have.
it's not good. So that's I'm a glutton, dude. What can I say?
Well, I mean, it's a comfort thing. We're all guilty of it. The whole freaking society is, but it's a you get that little shot of dopamine, man. We're all chasing shots of dopamine. That's all we're doing. That's like camp. If you can build a habit running a mile and you get that little shot of adrenaline as you're running, it becomes addicting, right? That's that runner's high. So that's where I'm a psychologist and biologist, is that you get that dopamine release or serotonin or whatever it is that keeps you coming back, that internal drug. That's what you want. That's you get whatever it is, whatever adrenaline, serotonin.
It gets
So
real heavy out past mile 30. I tell you that. If you want some dopamine, you get out past mile 30, dude.
yeah, body
You
kicks
get
into
some
survival mode.
dude. Hey, you get
Oh,
some dopamine, man.
everything it's got. Um, and that's kind of where I was getting at with the day to day stuff, is that a lot of people wake up, they're on their phone, they're listening to something, the news. A lot of people used to wake up to the news kind of thing. They're listening to music or something on the way to work, podcast, whatever you have it. I've been listening to more audiobooks and podcasts in the probably the like a near recent future. Right. I used to never be a listen to music in the car guy. Um, like always, just because it's just kind of noisy. And you hear the same song once or twice a week, it kind of gets a little old. Like I'm not really searching for new music all the time. So you only listen to George Strait so many times, and you're like, hey man, I take a week off. But um, I prefer having original thought in my head, like having a conversation with myself.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I'm a silent driver a lot of
yeah,
times.
yeah, same. Especially on the way, like today, on the way home, I'm thinking, preparing kind of my thoughts and things like that. A lot of people don't do that. I think
That takes away so much anxiety when you're not like when you're not. I don't think people realize like when they're on their phone or TV or music in the car, it's like you're constantly getting hit with external factors instead of like taking that time to think your day out, think a problem out, and then like when I go to bed at night, I sleep like a baby, honestly, because it's like those things are kind of already thought out and planned, and when the day comes tomorrow, it's like you kind of attack it, and it's it.
well, that's the NPC. That's the NPC thing is, they're only active when you're interacting with them. When they're not interacting with them, they're waiting for the next one. Right? There's nothing going on. That's why I like that movie, that Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah, yeah, great movie.
What was that called?
It's not Ready Player One. It's
Oh,
Might be an non-playable character. No, can't be.
yeah.
wow, why can't I remember the name? You can look it up real quick. I need to know before I go to bed.
It's gonna bother me.
It's gonna make me real
Same
mad
thing.
when I hear it
Free
too.
Guy.
Free guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, free guy. I mean, he had his own self thoughts, but that was programmed into him, right? I mean, he had that motivation, like what we claim we do. We claim we have that motivation to not be that NPC. So we're just fighting through that matrix. He basically made the Matrix. That's what he made.
Oh,
That's
he
what he made.
broke the Matrix.
Yeah, but he just remade the Matrix again.
Yeah.
Like everything's already been done. That's Rachel and I's ongoing joke. Everything's already been done. Like there's nothing new. There's nothing original. There's nothing new. We're on repeat. When they say history repeats itself, they don't mean it just repeats itself. The boring old is like humans aren't that special, but everyone's chasing that feeling of specialness. That's what, like you were saying during COVID, is like everyone's, oh, it's COVID. I got my mask. I got my booster. Everyone wanted to feel special. It's easy when you make someone feel special for doing something you want them to do. It's easy to coerce them into doing that. So that's manipulation. That's you're important and better and everything if you do this because I want you to do this. So, um, good stuff. You guys got a conspiracy to end kind of discuss with, or should I go straight to deporting people?
Go to deported people because that's another hour. I don't
Yeah,
even
it's
want
true.
to.
We got to spread it. We got
Yeah.
15 episodes left.
Yeah, we got at least 15 more, so we're gonna get to 20. We're getting to 20 episodes.
Oh,
Right?
we're 100% getting to 20, maybe 21. We'll be up. This podcast will turn the legal drinking age. We'll have to make
Yeah.
sure you guys actually have a drink, an adult beverage in your hand.
Yeah.
Um, we're still sipping the same bottle. Easy drinking. That's one of the hottest reels right now. I'm getting used to posting things, and
Yes. Yeah. Doing good.
the captions are.
It was some good cuts. Like you did good with the cuts of the. Yeah.
Wait, where's this at?
Instagram. I told you get an Instagram, Ryan.
Yeah, I
Make
gotta
one.
get on there.
Just you have a Facebook. You just gotta make an Instagram. Activate it.
Yeah,
It's all meta. It's all Marky Mark.
I'll work on that.
But yeah, good cuts. You guys make good content. You're funny guys, thoughtful guys. So good stuff. There'll be some from this one too, like KJ's shadow. KJ was darker than Camp the entire time.
Yeah, he was.
But we didn't fully unlock him yet.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. He was in China during at the start of COVID. That is so wild.
Yeah, I did not know that.
That would have scared me so much.
I need to ask him next time, but he said D-Bat. Is he talking about like the baseball bat company?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, that would make sense.
They sponsored Domingo. You remember Domingo Ayala?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They sponsored Domingo, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
but
I
that would make
quoted
sense
him the
if
other.
they were trying to expand to China,
Or if they have factories over there, make their
or if they
cheap
have.
ass
Yeah,
bats. Yeah,
yeah,
their bats used to always splinter.
yeah,
They were what they used on Amarillo. All the Amarillo guys had D
yeah.
bats, man.
The D-bats, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Or go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, mine's kind of unrelated, but I will say it though now because we're kind of on the topic of
Hey, we're on it.
like being in a different country. I've only been to Mexico, and going to a different country and seeing, I basically got robbed by a cop. Kind of held like my license to pay him like $200, and it made me realize like being in a different country that America kicks ass because we get to have weapons, dude. Like that's like that just doesn't fly. Like if I'm at my house and have a weapon, like you can't just. I don't know. It's a crazy feeling. And like if I was in China, especially at the start of COVID, that would have been like. I mean, you're just totally helpless.
And KJ is a tall guy, but you're a little bit taller than KJ. You've been sticking out even more like a sore thumb. But
Yeah, it would have just been.
yeah,
That's
and
like a collective society.
well, that's me too. I haven't been anywhere besides resorts on like St. Lucia and stuff like that. I want to. The problem is I want to go with Camp. I want Camp to be with me. I need Camp to come with me and show me how to do it because I was jealous of that. Like I said, we went through COVID and my life did not change besides like the extracurricular stuff and who was staying at my house. And I was, nothing changed. I didn't go through anything. I wore a mask when I didn't want to, and that was about it. I didn't wash my hands more. I didn't get any shots. I I just didn't do as much things as you thought you could want to do. Like when you're motivated out of college and you're making money, you're gonna go do things. I just want to go do things. I didn't get that selfish exploration time. But whatever. Um. So yeah, who we are deporting today. So it was blinkers first. People that misuse their blinkers. And we started with, or we went to
Shopping carts was first. Or
shopping carts was technically the first deported. Yeah, they've been gone. So
they've been gone. Yeah.
they've
There's
been gone.
still
We
some
missed,
out there. I know that.
and we missed them. That was the thing. I didn't go in with Rachel. I don't like going into Publix if I don't have to because it's a little chaotic for me, a little overstimulated. Rachel's a machine when it comes to that. She knows where everything is. She goes in there. I'm waiting in the truck. We just drove across the state from visiting my parents, so it was a long road trip, 2 hours. Jump into Publix real quick to get what we need for the week on Sunday. This old timer guy's like getting social security checks old. Looks like served his time, did his thing. Like hats off to you if you were a veteran or something like that. He walks towards my truck, and we're on the outside of the parking lot. So like it's us parked, and then the road on the way out on the other side. But like he walks to the end row, which is a whole parking space, drive aisle, park, and puts it in the landscape island, like Jimmy says he does. Like puts it over the curb, like lifts up the shopping cart, which is a chore in itself. So he walks
Yeah.
a good amount, lifts it up, puts it in. He could have walked the same exact distance the other way and put it in the shopping corral where it's supposed to go. The same exact distance, Ryan, and he wouldn't have had to lift it up. So it would have been easier for him to go that way and put it in the stall.
And we wonder why we can't have nice things.
Dude, and he didn't do it. I wanted to call ICE on the spot.
Citizens arrest, dude.
I should.
Yeah.
Dude, I was this close. I was in a good place at that point because I was editing on the way home a lot of the clips. So I was feeling good about it. I was like, man, all I had to do was open up my door because he was right at the tailgate. He was like right next to my truck. I go, hey, can't park here. Like I would have just done anything. I didn't. I should have. I need to act on that next time because that was a good opportunity for just me and one other person to have a good human interaction.
I think you got to start doing. I think some shorts you could start doing. You know when they catch pedophiles and out in public, and then they start slapping them and stuff. You should start catching these people.
Well, that's
putting their shopping carts like in a parking spot, and you just film them, and you got to.
Well, I almost did that too.
Slap them up a bit.
Well, that's the Cartnark. Shout out Cartnark. Look him up, Ryan. You'll have fun with him.
Oh yeah, okay. I think you said something about it.
He does the whole thing. He throws bumper stickers on him and stuff. It's fun. He does a good
Dude,
job.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Not all
But-
heroes wear capes.
Yeah, but in today, that was an older video. In today's world, man, you might get shot by the wrong person. No, no thanks. I'm not getting shot over a shopping cart.
It's a thankless job.
Correct. I did take it back over. Rachel brought ours. We took it back over. We cleaned it up. Left it better than we found it. But shopping carts inadvertently first. Misuse of blinkers. Two, probably a lot of the same people. A lot of overlap there.
Definitely the same people.
Yeah.
That's why deportations go down, right? You deport everyone once because they all share the same traits, and then they're just in the same umbrella. So shopping carts, blinkers. I think I said like if you 100% believe God's not real.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I second. I double down on that. You got to give it a 1% chance. Give me a 1% chance.
Yeah.
Because I was just listening to one of the Joe Rogan things from a while ago with one of the physicists he had on, and like just how they talk about the creation of the universe, like it just a big bang happened, like just from nothing, or there was a universe beforehand. It's like what? Like
Yeah, it's quite the miracle. It just happened.
that is just as unbelievable as believing that God created the earth. Like it's just the same. It's the same bit of unbelievableness, except there's like zero record of that.
It's
It's
the same story. They put their own twist on it.
Yeah. God said let there be light, and then their story is there was a light.
There was light. Yeah. Even took out the first part.
Yeah. Sure. Today we're deporting people that I don't know. I don't have a number of amount because I can't fathom how much, but people that spend a certain amount of money or have a certain amount of treatment of a pet to where it's like a child. People that treat their pets like children.
You're talking about the females that are going to be like, Happy Mother's Day to me because I have a dog in about 3 days?
Well, listen, if there are, you send me those posts. If there are people, a happy mom, dog.
Yeah. Oh, there will be.
That's those people, yes. But also people, like when I see pets in strollers, if your dog has 3 legs, a minimum 3-legged dog, it needs to be walking.
Yeah. I agree with that.
If your dog is in a stroller or a backpack, it doesn't need to be there with you, or it needs to be walking. That I firmly stand behind that. Now, is it a good for the economy? Because most of these people don't have kids and they're spending a lot of money on these pets, and it helps people have jobs and all that stuff. Sure, 100%. Garrett Bogart was a dog walker for a summer, but when you're buying
of this vehicle.
it's but when there's what the discretionary spending that will not take a downfall in these tariffs is pet owners. Now, if you're buying like bougie, if you're a crunchy pet owner and you're buying organic, the good stuff, fine. I can get behind that. There's a good reason because they're eating that thing that you're spending money on, and it's helping them be better, and hopefully you spend less money on vet bills, right? Maybe they smell a little bit better. But if you're buying clothes, if you're buying like stuff you would buy for a kid, other than like general sustenance, get out of here. Go have that pet somewhere else. Maybe we'll send them to Madagascar or something. That's a good little place. They can just have a bunch of pets, and they can spend a bunch of money on them. And then they'll all die at some point because they're not procreating. So they're out of here. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but I see too many strollers of 4-legged dogs. I see too many service animals in places that I know damn well that's not a service animal. Right? You're just treating it like a child. You bought some little certificate to bring it into Applebee's with you. Get it out of here.
I'll add to that. People who don't pick up the dog poop, because I was actually I was raking leaves a bit ago, and I noticed a fat dump right in my front yard.
Dude,
big dog
outside of my apartment, right outside the door, there's like 4 people right here in my little thing that have dogs, and it smells like poop 24/7. And about 15 feet away is a little the little poop holder.
No, I design them. They're in my site plans. They're like, oh, where's your dog receptacle? It doesn't matter. It's like striping. I had work today. We were talking about like the striping on the road, like the red and yellow stripe or yellow and white stripes.
Yeah.
there's so much stress about those and regulation about those. Like people are just going to drive wherever the hell they want to.
Just put down the pavement. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, just let it happen. The only place they need to be is at like signals where you need to know which arrow, like which lane is which. That's it. Other than that, just drive, man. But yeah, if you, I gotta find a dollar amount. We'll get Jamie pull up a dollar amount on average expenditure of pet owners, and maybe I'll reach out to PetSmart if they want to sponsor, maybe. But also if because one of the edits that has me cracking up is Ryan calling me to sell out day one. I'm just trying to put food on. I'm just trying to put food on the table, dude. Shout out D-Bat. I used to play baseball. But yeah,
Real quick, you guys brought this up, and it was something I had been looking into the last couple of days. Just the AI thing, but it was about um, corporations are getting rid of self checkouts. So look into that because that's going to be a big thing. They're losing money. People are stealing a bunch of stuff. They're like completely getting rid of self checkouts. I thought that was very.
You know what, dude? I kind of glad they're losing money because I find it I find it disrespectful that I'm like in there buying stuff, trying to check out, and like you can't even hit me with someone to check me out.
like, well, the problem is they couldn't give you like a discount for self checkout because you're not paying like a non-employer or self-employed discount because people were taking 5-finger discounts the entire time.
Yeah.
And I think now with the tariffs, I think the tariffs are going to really make them just shut them.
All right, so Target's the biggest one. Target's getting hit hard right now because of discretionary spending, kind of like you're talking about dogs and stuff. People go to Target just to like spend money, but they don't have like essentials there. So
yeah, discretionary spending will be an abrupt Q2, I think. Right, or it's now Q2, Q3. We'll start seeing those earnings reports show that we're spending a lot less money on stuff we don't need, and then all the other stuff will come. Just like Ryan said, there'll be a little bit of a growing pain, and hopefully what Trump is doing and the Trump admin is doing is a good trade deal for the long run, but it will hurt. It's just like withdrawals. We're so addicted to convenience that we're going to go through some withdrawals as a country to reap the benefits on the back end. So we need all the support from the family. Need to make sure we're in a safe place and go from there.
Also, another quick point, just so you guys can be tracking. If you look at the long average of mortgage rates, so I know Cody, you got a good mortgage. I think we talked about it one time. But if you look at the long average from like when they start tracking in the 70s, maybe 5 or 6 or 7% is like the norm. So a lot of people don't even think that we're ever going to see 3% again because we're talking about buying houses, moving forward. But the actual long average is like 7%. Something to look up. It's kind of crazy. When I saw the chart, it used to be like way up here, and then it dipped down in 2020, and now it's like going back up to normal. So I thought that was interesting.
No, I saw that too, and I agree with you that we're not going to see them down to where they were at. So I've readjusted my mental for someone who's going to buy another house.
No, and that's why I brought it up because I knew you were. Thinking about it.
I saw a new item. I put my email in, and I keep getting these emails for trying to be an early investor for something called Boxable. It's like BOXBL.
I looked into them. Yeah, I looked into it.
I wanted to invest into them as a civil engineer who does site design, and everyone screams about affordable housing, and then we put in 40, 50 foot wide lots that are supposed to be affordable housing, but they're going for the low 400s. I think is absolute travesty.
Yeah.
But again,
I don't know what people are going to do. Sorry.
No, this is what they're going to do, Ryan. They're going to start building up. They're going to build these 15-minute cities in all these areas that saw the wildfires in the past couple of years. And that's a conspiracy for another time. But they were flooding the internet and all the news channels with Project 2025 and all the whatever nonsense that was supposed to be because they're hiding Project 2030 that was put into place back in the Obama administration with the UN and all those other organizations. Yeah, the
globalist, dude.
Yeah, 100%. They're going to make these little 15-minute cities to where, just like COVID, you have to have your little city passport.
They already are.
I know.
In the UK, it's already a thing.
And it's starting. Listen, it's starting. I think it's going to be starting with those big Muslim enclaves developments. There's one going in Texas. They're trying to do some here. All these immigrants are trying to build these Muslim enclaves, just like the Jewish people did. They want to live in the same vicinity of a synagogue because they walk to the synagogue on the Sabbath because there's no electronics, no things like that. That's fine. I understand that. And sure, that's your religion. Do live in proximity so you can walk to it. But they're going to start doing these things to where it's just going to be just like the Gaza Strip, to where you have to prove who you are to get across the city border or the country border. Which, yeah, we have to do now to a point, but now you're talking like cities and even further down the line to where it's just right at your front door, not when you're trying to leave the country. So that's all. Maybe next week that's what we dive into.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring
I
that
feel
up.
like a good conspiracy
Yeah.
one, dude.
Yeah, we do need to. We've been a little serious for a couple episodes, and man, my humor bug is just itching to rack some jokes out. So, but yeah, that's what I got. Deport the people that spend too much money on their pets. They could be helping people out or doing something else or raising kids, being fruitful and multiply. So, anything else to report, guys? Everything good? Living life?
Everything good, dude. Everything good. I got a good Bible verse if you want to hear it. To close.
Let's end with a Bible verse. That'd be great. In the name of the Father, the Son.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. And this is basically at the men's class last night was talking how men could show love for one another, and this is kind of a good one as far as like fellowship with one another. So, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone and when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if two lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken.
What was that last one?
A threefold cord is not quickly broken.
Gotcha. I mean, that's
braided wire.
Yeah.
So if we're together, working together, we can take on whatever the world throws at us.
I mean, yeah, we just talked about
got
that.
a lot to throw at us.
Yeah, we just talked about that the entire time, is having your circle, having your guy to text you to motivate you, get you to the happy place. So, that was a good share. That was a good one to end on. So thanks for joining us. If you have, hopefully you make it past episode 1 and 2 when my microphone is absolutely garbage. These guys have propped me up, just like Ryan read, and helped me out. Hopefully we get some new faces on and changing you guys and keep getting all your ideas, because like I said, I do appreciate you. It's called Stogies with Bogies. I haven't smoked in 4 episodes. It was raining tonight. I would have been outside. Outside, but it's raining. Yeah. But we'll keep doing this as long as we keep doing this, and I'm very appreciative of you guys. Hope you have a good night and a good week, and we'll talk to you next Thursday, if not sooner.
Sounds good to me. Probably won't make it next Thursday, so I'll be flying back from Fort Knox. I got to go drop a van off. It's the whole thing, so I won't be on next.
Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Secure the gold, brother.
Let me know how much gold's there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go ask somebody about that.
We'll do like a boots on the ground, like a what's the weather guy? What's the weather guy? Either way, we'll get you live from the airport.
If anything, I'll tune in and listen a little bit before I'm boarding my flight.
I can send you a live link. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
First time, long time. I had a question for the host. Who do you think you are?
Cool. All Thanks for having me again, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining. Godspeed. Have a good one.
Peace.
See you, boys.